In today's video of Inzoi, we are creating a row house inspired by Paris design and Paris architecture. To be precise, 2 row houses as you just have seen on screen. So if you're looking for inspiration how to build properly in the game and how also to abuse certain pieces, this may actually be the inspirational video you have been looking for. So I'm going to talk you through what I've done, what I've basically tested, and what I've also figured out to do in this game to achieve the look you've just seen. It may not look that special, but trust me, that is going to be a bit of an understatement, because this was kind of challenging, because the game naturally doesn't offer so many detailing options as you may think it would, and also the game in tendency is a little bit more modern inspired, like Korean modern, US modern, but also like there's not really that much European inspired old architecture, like classic architecture, Victorian, kind of that style, Main Street style. US is also not really in, so it was a bit of a hard one to create that style. However, I think at the end of the day, I kind of challenged myself because I wanted to go there, and I am very happy that I achieved this. But with that come also a couple of things I learned during the build, which I want to talk you through, and also if Crafton, if any one of you of the Inzoi team is listening or watching, I will talk you through a couple of problems I encountered, I should say, during the build that I think could be fixed easily. So first of all, I'm not really entirely sure why we have an option to override the kind of placement boundaries for some pieces, but then for others we can't. Like most obviously for the roof pieces, you can't merge them into each other, despite the fact you click on the Alt key, which is meant to be the key to basically ignore the boundaries of the game. Like obviously if you want to, like in Sims, like in every other simulation build, certain pieces have a limitation to where you can place them so that the people can interact with them. But if you're like me and you say like, I don't care if they interact with them or not, I just want this to be looking like something, I want to abuse this air fryer or like this air conditioner to become a, I don't know, outside decoration. And I did abuse a couple of things. We have some cupboards, even like a marriage table becoming a bit of a detail in here. We are using shelves as details for the outside appearance of the house. So that was relatively challenging, I may add, because some things in the game just didn't let me do the way I wanted it to. The next thing I want to talk about is actually the system, how roofs kind of work. Like as soon as you've created a full room, automatically there is a ceiling obviously created to it. But the problem is if you don't do this and you then put another room on top of it, the open spaces kind of maintain open and the ceiling is gone. So what I did over here, as you can see, I was using one of the platforms to kind of create a fake ceiling, and then I was testing around how to work with the roof in order to create some dormers, because these houses like Victorian styles and so on, they work quite often with like dormers and sunken in roof gables, like where you really have the house become a little bit of a styling element, because you have the interaction with the roof and the dormers and the gables, and everything looks really cool. But it turned out to be very hard for me to achieve that look specifically, because the roof pieces over here always deleted other stuff around it if I wasn't paying attention to it much. And then yeah, it just kind of came to my I just figured out that I needed to do it specifically, first of all, with the walls over here, and then I used the pillars, as you can see, the columns, to hide away these kind of edges that don't look so nice. All over the place, trying to figure out these things, and just like it didn't feel straight logic at the beginning, but I did find a couple of things to do. So I think the easiest way to use the platform is really to go to the front and only have the platform as your basis for styling options, because the cool bit is also you can put the columns and so on the platform, so they will naturally be a little bit higher than they would if they go to the normal level. As you can see very obviously here on screen, the platform kind of moves the whole thing like 20 to 30 centimeters way higher up, and then so the building becomes a little bit more interesting to look at. So when you look at this architecture, you want to have different height situations. So both levels of the house shouldn't really feel the same. And the trick I used is to have obviously a very high platform to the ground of the building, so almost like a meter or meter 20. And then the lower floor, like the first floor, is already a meter 20 down there. So that means the first floor in total is 4 meters and 20 around-ish, and the second floor then is 3 meters, which kind of creates a little bit of a false perspective and forced perspective, I was about to say, to make this building look a little bit more like these typical Paris-inspired chalet kind of builds. So yeah, as you can tell over here, this is what I meant. I was then looking into some furniture that has some really cool elements, and I was trying to figure out what to do with the styling. And so you can see this little seating thing over here was really nice as a as a wonderful styling piece for the front of the house to get it a bit of a detailing. And then I also used the backside of a cupboard to create a bit of a yeah, almost like a pillar or maybe a guider, or I don't know, maybe just like a plank. Just like I wanted to have something interesting to look at. And I also was looking into German, kind of typical German architecture, like a Fachwerkhaus, which is this kind of typical medieval house you can tell from Central Europe. But the problem is they have some diagonal beams, you know, and these diagonal beams apparently can't be done in the game at the moment because we don't have any of those beams. And yeah, I mean, it's very specific, you know, my mind never works the way it should. Like, obviously I could build like a typical American or Korean or modern house, and that obviously would go very well in this game, but that's not a challenge, you know, that's what it is meant to be. I want to see the limitations of the game, and this is where you need to go out of the comfort zone, which I certainly did with this build. Really hard to figure out how to close certain things off. This, by the way, over here on the roof is exactly what I was talking about. The way I wanted to close that bit off over here is just like it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I'm using the half walls that you can scale up and down, but then the problems are not scale, but like actually, you know, make taller or lower. But the problem about this was that at the end of the day, there was not a ceiling like created. It always sticked open. And yeah, as I said, I wanted to have just like a flat roof piece, you know, that's just like a flat roof you can put on, almost like a platform, but the one piece should be having no barrier or anything. Like some of the pieces, like the platforms, they are very aggressive when it comes to deleting stuff around it. I kind of get it. As you can see over here, putting that platform down deletes the door right away. And the reason for that is relatively obvious because of the locomotion system where the people go. As these platforms are navigatable by our Zois, they need to have a certain area around to be able to, you know, create the animation going up and so on. So this is why you need to put them down first, and then you can also place a door again, because I figure that the door then will take into account that there is a platform in front of it, and so people can actually move in. You'll see that in the real-time part, Zois will actually be able to walk the house and so on. So it's not problematic whatsoever. But yeah, as I was kind of happy with the look at the first glance here, I started to build the exterior, and at a certain point I figured, you know what, the problem is that this house just kind of feels lost. And then at some point I was like, okay, I gotta put a second one next to it to just make it really look like a row house in here. Otherwise this house would have just been super lost in there. And what's kind of funny is, if you see me building now, you will figure out relatively quickly that the second part of the video is going to be, or like the time lapse is going to be so much quicker and more straightforward, because all these techniques I learned to use the pillars, move them in, use some of the furniture pieces as detailing, use the half walls with turning them into actual fences, work super nice as like a straight balcony in front of it. You can also use some of the pillars and recolor them to get a bit of shading and a bit of nicer depth of, just in general depth behind or next to your windows. These roof pieces, if you create them very tiny, as you've seen with the second level of our right hand side house, you can then put a wall behind this and make kind of a fake dormer, if you will. So it is just a second level house, but then I just put in front of the wall, I'm just going to put the roof, and so it kind of appears like as if there's a dormer. So yeah, next up over here, again creating a fake dormer, if you will, by just putting the room behind there and putting the kind of roofs in front of it. So yeah, it was a bit tricky, and as you can see, I still wasn't happy with the roof, and yeah, you can't merge them into each other. It was a bit of a painful process to find out what I wanted to do, and then again, I was putting some platforms down, hoping that this creates a ceiling, and eventually it did create a ceiling, but on the wrong height, and then yeah, I needed to fix a couple of things here and there, and I just was unable to close off that centerpiece there of the right-hand side house, and at some point I was just like, I give up, you know. It is what it is. I just need a freaking simple non-barrier piece, or not just a piece without a hitbox that we can abuse as basically filling in gaps. It just needs to be like, as in other games, we need just kind of a 3D cube or anything that you can just color in any kind of texture or color you want, and then just move that into edges, you know. That's all we need, because apparently also you can't move pieces up and down. That is also something I wish to have in the game. You can obviously move pieces up and down when you are on a wall, so you can freely move fences and shelves and so on, and windows obviously alongside the wall, moving it up and down. That just works. But if you have a piece, for example, you can't move it up and down, which realistically, obviously, is correct, because you can't just use a cupboard and make it floating in midair, so to say. I get that, but just for the sake of building, sometimes it would be nice to have something that isn't fully realistic, but gives us builders kind of the ability to, you know, for example, create like a nice little pillar as a support over here with the dormer in the center. So there is this window to the lower level where I was just creating the fence in front of, that is a little bit pushed inwards to create that little depth over here. And by the way, this left-hand side house is definitely more modern inspired. Like the right-hand side house is a bit more classic, a little more ornaments and so on. The left-hand side is a bit more classic, it was just like testing where I can go with this style, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. But you could go even further and put in more little details, but at some point I figured it looks a little bit cluttered. I'm still missing some little elements that, you know, could act like tiny details to finish off certain areas. Like to be precise, some of the pillars or columns over here have this bit of a wider top part, which looks good. You know, it looks like a proper end to the piece. But then these roundish pillars I was using everywhere, specifically on the right-hand side house, on the right house, they don't have a proper top part. And a little sphere would have already done wonders to put it on top and then have that little sphere as a finishing off piece. But yeah, putting down obviously a couple of planters here in the front of the house, because apparently that's what you do with these houses. And always when you put like foliage in, buildings look immediately better, because like the contrast of the different of the green and the houses always makes something really nice looking. And yeah, as you can see, then I was also doing some little details again, because I figured we need to just get one more thing in. And I found this kind of marriage podium, kind of whatever, where they can hold some marriage speeches. But the coolest bit about this is that it had this marble kind of texture from the outside, and I was very happy. And last but not least, I was using some shelves to create some of these brackets I was looking for to get these little decoration to the top layer of the house. But that's been it with the commentary or the voiceover, because in a couple of seconds we will be moving over into the real-time part. I hope you found this video inspiring and educational maybe as well, to learn how to use certain pieces in this game. So you can get creative also with furniture, because you don't need to limit it to its original purpose, I should say. So here's me putting some more trees and stuff in, but now let's move over into the real-time part, because you want to see how it looks. Alrighty then, this is how it looks in game. Here are the finished houses. We can also change the time of day so we can have a bit of a better look, and I gotta say I'm pretty proud of it. To be honest, there is obviously still the backyard completely unfilled, can be done. I may do this for the full property, but you know, the main idea is done, and I think you can definitely tell how this looks. I mean, we could put like a couple of you know, windows on the back to make it just appear a bit nicer from the interior. But I thought, you know, as you guys can grab it yourself, you can basically plop them all in if you just want to. You know, we can just plop them all in to give the house a bit of a nicer lighting. But again, as I was thinking, this can be a good you know, shell for everyone to play with. I didn't bother doing the inside. Also, it took long enough to come up with creative ideas to create such a build. As you can see, and I was talking about already in the time lapse, there's a lot that needed to be done to achieve a style like this. So as much as I love the building mode, there is a lot of work. Let's actually go out of the building mode and back into the game mode so we can have a little look how it looks. Also, can I just go to shoulder view of our little dude and then stand up, please? It's just a test person, by the way. It's not my Let's Play person, which I'm going to have very soon. Can we just get out of here? There you go. Come on. No. Stop being a smart Zoe, because I need to move you. So let's just go through our gate real quick out of here, so we can turn around and have a look at our houses. I should definitely go to make this like so, and then there are the houses. I mean, just look at them. Just look at them. Don't they look... I mean, I think they look gorgeous. I think they look absolutely gorgeous. So if we take a photo from here... Oh my god, why was it changed? No, hold on. Portrait mode? Is that... I want to change the camera position and look upside. It's a little bit odd that you can't really turn the camera up. You can tilt it down, but you can't tilt it up. I want to do like a photo from the frog perspective. That would have been nice, but I'm going to fly here and take a photo like that. It doesn't matter. I mean, we could change time of day as well, just to get a little bit of sunlight glazing over the houses. There you have it. I am quite in love with it. Not gonna lie, this is pretty much what I really love about this game. Building in this game is fantastic, and you know, just seeing the houses. Oh, look at that. Look at the details. I was really trying to make the details with all the columns, and even like this wedding podium over here does work wonders. And you know, merging all these things together, having these shelves basically as little details do work, but we are desperately in need of some brackets and, you know, just some awnings, and maybe like also dormers are not a thing quite now, so I need to fake like a dormer like this. There's no way to just make this look better from the lower end. Like, there's a lot to do. I faked it over here to, you know, make sure that looks good. Also with that little podium, or like, what is that called? I think it's like podium in the middle. And just having these houses raised also gives this whole thing just such a cool feel. But if we go in, you can already tell that, hello, can you just go up the stairs, please? There you go. I wish also to have a bit of a different style here for these things, but you know, going in, and as you can tell, it's like a tiny house, but this is like with these old type of houses, pretty normal. You know, in this one, I already said where the stair goes, and then if we go upstairs, it just kind of works. And from the inside, as you can see, you would need to put a couple walls, because otherwise that looks odd. Actually, you know what, if, oops, not page up, I should give this like the proper, like if you have the walls activated, it doesn't look too bad, but you would need to put a cupboard there to, you know, hide these things. But yeah, I'm abusing, as always, a game and the pieces in the game to achieve the best possible outcome. Gosh, I love the lighting, by the way. Ooh, hold on, this lighting is not too bad. Can I just go to photo mode in the rain? Ooh, I don't know why, but I quite like this. Just gonna save a photo like this. I don't know. The only thing you know, when I was building on the property, and maybe this is something I can still do, is like move the whole thing backwards. But the problem is, if you do move the house, just gonna go back to the building mode. If you guys are watching, like there are a couple of little things that, you know, are a little bit annoying. You know, you could like move the whole property now, which is a great thing. But as you can see, the front and so on is kind of destroyed then. So if I move it all the way back, and I'm just moving it along the axis, potentially there should nothing be happening, but as you can see, if I hit OK, half of it is gone. Like, I don't get an info why. Why is the stair gone over here? Why are some other things gone? Like, I just don't understand why. Like, if we go for the full house, you can see some of the columns are gone too. I mean, it stands nicely to the back here, you know, this is kind of a nice way. But if I redo it now, you can see all the columns are back, and also the stair is back. Like, I don't really get why that is. I wish to have, you know, moved that all back a little bit more to get rid of this, like this kind of power line in front of here. It's really annoying for taking photos. But yeah, so I guess this is one of my best builds in this game so far, the most realistic and the most nice looking one. I mean, look at just how it outdoes the next one over here, so the other side. Just really, I think there are also, like, if you look at the all other houses, they have pieces that we potentially will get eventually. But I was looking at this house and like, I need this one, I need this one, I need that pergola, whatever this thing is called. I need all these awnings, and I need it, you know, just give it to me, because it just kind of building is so nice in this game. And like little things like this over here, you know, these type of roof things we can't just do, because the roof is just like, no, I don't want to be merged into each other. Or maybe I've overseen something in the menu and I can deactivate that. I don't know. Maybe let's have a look. If there's an option, I don't know, simulation, can I have no idea. Is there a way to enable merging of things? Like, I don't know, potentially not. But yeah, there's another problem I have, and for whatever odd reason, I can't save my game at the moment. Like, as you can see, go to lobby, go to canvas, options, that's it. I can't save the game, which is a bit of an odd one, because also autosave doesn't seem to work, which I hope that this build isn't going to go anywhere, but obviously I saved it and uploaded it to Canvas, so it should be there. But for now, this is it, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video in Inzoi. And yeah, we are definitely going to build more of these houses. If you want to go for a specific style that you want to see if it's doable in the game, let me know in the comments down below. I do have a couple of ideas what to do next, and also some interior fun. But for now, that's been it with like the Paris kind of inspired row houses. Hope you like them, and I talk to you in the next one. Apparently, because I'm a bad YouTuber. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do so. The algorithm really likes to understand that you guys potentially want to like my content. So that is the best thing to help me out. And in any case, if you like the content, you can always become a member of the channel or give a super thanks as well. I always forget to talk about these things. So thank you so much as always for being a so supportive community. I can't wait to show you the next episode of this game. And until then, have a good time. And bye!